In Creo Parametric, you can create freeform curves and surfaces using the Style tool, also known as ISDX. Let's click on Style in the ribbon to get into that mode. And I can see that right now I've got an active plane over here. Let's turn on the datum plane display. I want to change my active plane. The first curve that I'm going to make, I want to make right in the middle of the model on this datum plane called front. So if I hold down the right mouse button, I get a pop-up menu with a number of different commands. I can choose Set Active Plane and then select the datum plane that I want to use. Also from the right mouse button, you can change to the active plane orientation if you want to look normal to that plane. Let me rotate it a bit, and to reduce my screen clutter, let's turn the display of the planes off. Also, sometimes the grid can be a little intrusive when you're trying to work. If you go to the Operations Overflow menu and then choose Preferences, you can change different settings in the grid. For example, if I want to get more blocks in there, I can increase the number in spacing, or I can decrease it, or I can turn off the display of the grid entirely. Now I will click OK. To create a new curve, you can click on the Curve command in the ribbon. Also, it is available from your right mouse button menu. And when you create a curve, you have a few different types that you can create. First, you can create a free curve, which is in 3 dimensions. In this video, we will be creating planar curves, and you also can create curves on surfaces. So right now, I can see that it's got the outline of my active plane. I'm going to start off by creating different points, and I want these points to lock into the intersection of the active plane with this edge over here. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key. The Shift key is how you snap into geometry. And then I clicked on the edge, and you might not be able to see it, but I have a little green X at the start of my curve. And that's an indication of a fixed point. That point is fully constrained, fully located, because it's at the intersection of an edge and the active plane. And let's go to the other side of the model. Once again, I'll hold down the Shift key and then pick on the edge. And there I have my curve, and yeah, a curve between 2 points that is a straight line. But now let's take a look at modifying this curve. Oops, I'm still creating new curves. Let me cancel out of that. To modify the curve, you can select it and then use Edit Definition. And one nice thing about the Style environment is that when you double click on an object, that takes you into Edit Definition for that entity, as opposed to Standard mode. When you double click on something, that takes you into Edit, in other words, changing the dimensions. So let's double click on the curve and start giving it some shape. I can right click on the curve and you can add points at that location, but I want to add a midpoint. Now I have another point that I can manipulate for controlling the shape of the curve. And another thing that I want to do, I want to change the end conditions. So if you click on one of the endpoints, you're going to get something called a tangent bar. And I can grab that tangent bar, and it's changing the tangency at the end conditions, or basically the shape at the end conditions. You can also adjust the length of the bar. If you go to the Tangent tab in the ribbon, you can see that right now it's free. You can actually create dimensions for the length of the bar and also the angle of the bar. I'll show that later. And when you have these different numbers, if there's a checkbox, you can actually turn that into a dimension. It's a way of making your freeform curves and surfaces a little more parametric where you need them to be. But I want this to be surface tangent. I can right click over the tangent bar, and here you can see the variety of conditions that we have for controlling the boundary conditions or endpoint conditions. And I want this to be G2 surface curvature continuous. You'll notice that you can go all the way up to G3 for acceleration, which is like the second derivative of tangency. But let's go to curvature, and then we can select the surface that we want it to be curvature continuous to, forgetting the words for a moment. And that's good for that end. Let's select the other endpoint. And once again, we can right click and I can choose surface curvature. and pick the surface that I want to use. And that way, with only having 3 points, we're getting quite a bit of shape to this particular curve. Let me show you the point tab. If you grab a point, then you can see the X, Y, and Z locations of it. And as I move this curve around, you can see how it is updating the shape of the curve and also the locations of the point itself. Let me hit the check mark to get out of this curve for a moment. While that curve is still selected, I'm going to turn on the display of a curvature plot. And right now I can't see the curvature plot. It looks like the scale is just way too small. Let me go to Saved Analysis, and here is that curvature plot. I can select it and then use the pencil icon. And for the scale, let me see if I can increase the scale and it'll help. Let's try a scale of, I don't know, 1,000. And by having this curvature plot displayed, let me click OK out of there, you can see how the shape of the curve changes along its length. Let's close out of the Saved Analyses dialog box. Once again, I will double click on the curve, and that way I can see, okay, if I'm moving this around, how is it changing sort of the aesthetic quality of the curve in this particular model. And so when I say, I like this shape here, I will hit the check mark. If I no longer want to see the curvature plot, let's go back to Saved Analyses, click on the little eyeball, and it is no longer visible. So that is good for my first planar curve. Now I want to create one sort of like in the middle over here, arching between the two sides. Let me turn on my datum plane display again. And this time I'm going to change my active plane. Let me display it for a moment so you can see it. Let's display the grid, increase the number of grid lines, hit the OK button. And once again, I can right click and choose Set Active Plane. And I could use the datum plane called right. And even though I want it in the middle, if I went to create another curve, using the datum plane right, if you go to the References tab, you can actually type in an offset. So for example, if I tried an offset of, let's try 1,000. Okay, that's nowhere near where it needs to be. Let's try 3,000. You can actually offset from an existing plane. An alternative method is to create a new datum plane, but one that is only within the style environment. To do that, you can go to the Set Active Plane Overflow and then choose to create an internal plane. So again, this is a datum plane that will only exist within the style feature as part of one of its entities. This is why the style environment creates what is commonly referred to as a super feature. And so let's say I want this to be about, let's try 4,000. Nice round number. And then click the OK button. Now I've got DTM1 and it's automatically been made the active plane. Once again, I'm going to go to my preferences and turn off the display of the grid and turn off my datum plane visibility. Okay, let's go about creating our second planar curve. I'm going to hold down the right mouse button. Let's click on the curve command, and we're still set into planar. And you can see that we are using our new internal plane. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and then pick on the edge. You'll notice that I am once again getting a green X, indicating that that is a fixed point. Let's hold down Shift, and I'm going to click on the curve that I just created, and then Shift once more and pick the edge on the other side. That's good for my curve. I will use the middle mouse button to finish creating it. Then if I want to go to modify it, once again, let me hit the cancel out of there. Let's double click on this particular curve, and we can select on the endpoints. And I could choose, maybe I want it to be tangent to a surface. And it says that, okay, made it tangent, but I don't like the shape of that. Let's go to the tangent bar. I'm going to change this back to being free. And then we can adjust it. And again, you can do this a lot by feel. I'm just grabbing the tangent bar and seeing what shape looks good, and again, drag it out, drag it back in. Then I can say, about this is good. And to make it the same on the other side, I can punch in some numbers here. 900 for the length and the angle. Let's do 330 maybe. Now, closer to what I had before, 345. All right, so that's good for one side. Let me click on the other side and let's change this. Instead of natural, we're changing it to free. Let's use the same values on the other side, and it's going to be 360 minus the angle that I had on the other side. And that's a way of making sure that we have the shape the same on both sides of the curve. And I can hit the check mark, and there I have two different curves created inside of my feature. If you take a look at the bottom of the model tree, we have something called a style tree, and this lists the different entities that we have in our style feature. We have two different curves and that internal datum plane. And that's what I'm going to create in this feature for now. So I can hit the check mark, and now I am back in standard mode. You can see the style feature at the bottom of the model tree. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more information, please visit www.creowindshield.com. If you learned something from this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like this video, please click the subscribe button and ring the bell to be informed when new videos are uploaded. Thank you very much.